Derrell Peel, our livestock marketing specialist, is here now. And Derrell, let's start off with how cattle markets are looking so far this year.
You know, we're looking pretty good so far this year. We came out of 2017 with some momentum, some strength in these markets, and by and large, we're holding that pretty well in terms of fed cattle markets, feeder cattle markets, kind of across the board. Box beef markets are holding pretty well. So we're off to a good start this year.
With that in mind, what are some of the major market factors you're advising producers to keep an eye on moving forward?
Well, I think the biggest factors that can affect cattle markets, at least in terms of a shock, would be things that would come from the outside. And one of the big ones, of course, that we continue to watch would be trade policy. We've still got a lot of uncertainty that's hanging over the market a bit about what's going to happen with NAFTA. And then, you know, more immediately, the drought conditions that we see right now in the Southern Plains, we really have to keep an eye on them going forward. They could become a significant market impact and certainly could very much be a large management impact.
In terms of management, what do you advise for producers for planning in the months ahead?
Well, I think the key right now is to start some planning. You know, we've got lots of time to fix this thing if it should turn around and start raining. We're really not trying to grow any forage for another 60, 80 days or a little bit longer. But at the same time, you need to make plans now about what happens if it doesn't. The meteorological conditions look like this is going to persist for a while. Even if it does turn around going into summer, it may cause us to miss out on some of our early forage growth. So we need to make those plans now. Hopefully we won't need them, but you know, start thinking about what your resources are in terms of feed, what kinds of alternatives you might have available to you if you need additional feed resources, and then you know, ultimately you have to think about the contingency for perhaps having to liquidate some animals if this thing stays severe enough long enough.
So the key then is to really map out those contingency plans.
It really is. You need to, you know, determine a couple things. One is sort of what alternatives do you have available in terms of the resources available, alternatives for acquiring additional resources if you need them. Perhaps most importantly is if you get into a situation where something has to give, figure out a timeline for when those decisions have to be made. I think typically producers get in the most trouble in a drought when they just delay and delay, and then you get to a point where you really don't have any alternatives.
Definitely. Derrell, thanks a lot. We'll see you again soon.